Ivy.
Hi, how you doing, Rico?
I'm doing good, thanks. It's a good day. Hello, everybody. Before we even jump in, Mark Sturlson dropping a $20 super chat, dude. Thank you so much. It means a lot. I really appreciate it. I know you and Ivy are good friends, and so this should be fun for you. And hi, everybody else. Thanks for coming in. Again, I want to do my normal spiel. I'm not even going to have the chat open. I'm not even going to look at it. We're not going to look at the chat at all this whole first part of it. Ivy and I, Bunny Viper, Ivy, we're just going to have a conversation. And then the second half of it, we'll do a 2-hour stream. The second half, we'll open it up to you guys to ask questions about Ivy, about her life and stuff. And we'll talk to you then. So thank you so much for coming. And I'm going to get rid of the chat right now. And
I can't see chat at all.
So that works out perfectly.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi.
Hi.
Let's see. Let's start with the usual, and that's where you live. Oklahoma?
I do live in Oklahoma now. I sure do.
Okay. And where are you from originally?
Oh, well, my dad was in the Army, so all over.
Okay.
I was born in Louisiana, so that's what I claim.
Okay.
Had family back there for a while. But I live in Oklahoma now. My parents were here when my dad died, and my husband and I were living in Florida. So we moved up here. I got lucky and bought the house next door to her.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah. And I'm an only child, so it's kind of like, I wanted to be here. Even if I'd had 10 brothers and sisters, I'd still come up here, to be with her. So, and now I just live with her. We kept the better house, sold my house, and now we have this place. So it's really cool.
So you, as a service member or an Army brat, you moved around a lot as a kid.
A lot, every 2 years at least. Yeah.
Did you have a place that you really liked the most out of all the places you lived?
Well, I lived in Florida, but that was after the fact, and I don't know why everybody hates Florida so much. I lived in St. Petersburg. I loved it.
It's fun. It's fun to hate Florida.
Yeah, if I could go back in a second, I would go. I couldn't handle Louisiana humidity. That'd be too much for me. Virginia, we kept getting transferred back and forth to Virginia, so I've probably lived in Virginia longer than I've ever lived anywhere else.
And is there stuff about Virginia you really like or dislike?
It's beautiful country. There's lots of cool fossil and arrowhead hunting, which, I was really into. A lot of the people are real holier than thou because we landed there. So they're the first Americans and they're real proud of that, boy. Yeah, there's a lot of snobs. There seem to be a lot of snobs. I lived in Virginia Beach, so,
Gotcha.
Yeah. But the country's beautiful.
Yeah. So people you didn't care for as much.
The people I wasn't crazy about, yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. And what about any place else on all those places? Is there any place that stood out as really bad or really good? All the places you lived as a kid, or not really?
Well, I don't know. We just kind of up and moved so fast. It's you kind of get used to a place and then you'd be gone. So
yeah,
it was hard to leave friends, but then it became easier to make friends because you learn how. You do learn how. So. No, I mean, I've appreciated there's beauty to everything. Like I lived in Arizona, and that's just desert. I lived in Tucson, so it's kind of a bowl surrounded by mountains and and that was lovely with its tumbleweeds and dirt,
Yeah.
Oklahoma's really pretty this time of year with, you'll have rolling fields and then you'll have big bales of hay just out in the fields. And that's really pretty, especially at sunset, it's kind of a man-made thing, but really cool anyway.
And how long did you live in Tucson roughly? Was it just like a 2-year period or was it shorter?
No, that was after, let's see, I've been married a couple of times, but that was after I was an adult. So I probably lived there about 4 years. 4 or 5 years.
What time frame was that? What years were that?
That would have been mid-'80s, probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I went to Tucson quite often in the mid-'80s. I might have waved at you one time or something.
You never know. I could have flipped you off. You never know.
Yeah, that probably would be more likely. Yeah.
I doubt it.
The highest pollen count. I can't remember the name of the county. What was the county that Tucson's in? I forgot the name.
Pima? Is it Pima?
Pima County, yes. Pima, you're right. The highest pollen count in Pima, Arizona back in the 70s and 80s, the highest pollen count was cannabis.
What?
That was the highest pollen count because it's been in the desert. Quite often,
That's
cannabis
funny.
was yeah. I
That's
just thought
very
that was
funny.
interesting little tidbit, and it makes sense. Believe me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, we used to go down there all the time, though. I lived in the east side of Phoenix, Mesa, Apache Junction, Scottsdale, all that area. So
Yeah.
we would go down to. Do you remember Oracle Junction? Does that sound familiar?
It sounds vaguely familiar. I might be imagining it, but it sounds familiar.
If you live on the east side of the valley, you can take sort of the back roads down there, and Oracle Junction's like right between Tucson and Phoenix.
Oh, that's cool.
And that road has no police on it at certain times of the night. My friend was a police officer. And so one guy, a friend of his, he knew when there was no patrols. They took an actual drag racer, a real one.
Oh, nice.
And ran it down that road because it's so straight and flat.
That's awesome.
Because they knew the times when there was no police coverage in the area.
That's very cool. Speaking of traffic in Tucson, I remember how they had the roads like certain times of the day, they'd go in opposite directions. Like the middle 2 lanes would go north to south this time, and or all north this time and all south that time. And I learned that the hard way. I got into one of those lanes that was like a turning lane, and traffic was coming at me, and I didn't know what was up. So
I could see that would be confusing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made sense though, because commute, people coming into the town, leaving the town, so.
Well, I'm like, why is everybody honking at me like I'm an idiot?
That's funny. So, what are any other places that really stand out to you that you either really liked or disliked or just had something that really stuck in your mind?
Well, I can tell you, I never technically lived in Tennessee very long, but Tennessee is beautiful. Tennessee was just stunning. As far as beauty goes, if I could pick a state to go live in, that would probably be it.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So I could be a legit member of the Tennessee Mafia,
Yeah. Well, you're an honorary member, right?
I am. I'm an honorary member. My nickname is Thumper.
Nice. I don't know if I have a nickname. I don't think I do.
Well, you need one. Pick one and tell them that's what you want. They'll hook you up.
Yeah, maybe. I'm sure. Maybe I do have one. I just forgot it. That's usually what happens.
Yeah.
I forget these things.
California had hot springs. They had some hot springs around where I was. That was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I was always drawn to like rivers and creeks, and especially if that water is clear, and especially if there's something to dig for. I mean, I can sit in a creek bottom, all day, just hours and hours in the same little spot and pick through every single rock looking for fossils, and easily entertained, I guess. But I love that stuff. So.
And that was, we'll jump ahead a little bit. That was one of your major hobbies when you were younger, is looking for fossils and arrowheads and things like that?
Arrowheads, absolutely. And I'd still be out there doing it if I could. But so now I just buy stuff, when I can. I'll find a piece that I really like and buy it.
Yeah.
So
what is it? Go ahead.
No.
You go. You started to say something.
I was just going to say that, when I was a kid in the 70s, museums were free. So my parents were young and broke, and we spent a lot of times in museums, and our favorites were always the natural history museums.
Yeah.
And so that's where I got my taste for it. That's where I got the bug for it. And I collect skulls. Taxidermy comes into that too, but I collect skulls, rock and minerals, examples, different things from all over the world, like not archaeology. Oh, for Pete's sakes.
Geology?
No, it has to do with people, the study of people.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that. So I get different things, like you'll see tribal masks and stuff they make out of wood, or different things, feathers from where they're at. Things like that. I just love fossils, amber. I have like a big chunk of amber. It's got a giant cicada in it. That cicada is like 4 inches long, but it was put there by a human being. But it was put there, somewhere roughly around 100 years ago. And it was, they're believed to, like, if somebody has an evil spirit in their house, these people would take this amber and put it in their house and do some hoodoo voodoo, and then the evil spirit would get trapped inside the bug in the amber. So then you were safe. So it's an antique kind of thing. It's man-made because, you know, a person put it there.
Yeah.
But then I've got some other little examples like mosquito and some amber and different things like that I dig all that stuff. I have more curio cabinets, and, you know, most of it's all boxed up right now, but, you know, that's my bird running her mouth. She'll calm down in a minute. If we start laughing, she'll start laughing. So that'll be good.
So while we're talking about that, I don't want to go too far off, but while we're talking about that, tell me what you said about, you know, oftentimes when I'm doing a stream, people, if I have to get up, I turn my camera off, and it's because I'm embarrassed sometimes about what I have to go through and the noises I make and how I look when I stand up. It's painful. And Ivy's got the same thing, but
I'm the same way. And you know, you moan and groan and stuff because it hurts. And you know, for quite a while, my parrot was making this noise, noise, and I couldn't figure out where she got it. I just couldn't figure it out. And then one day I dropped something on the floor and I bent down to get it, and she went, and so I knew right then and there where it had come from. I'm gonna tell you. If you want to know what you're saying around a house, get a parrot. They will teach you stuff you said.
You probably don't even realize, because I know it took me a long time before I realized that I was even making those types of noises. I had no idea.
Yeah.
And then, but having the bird like that, you know, tell you that's.
She taught me what I was doing for sure. She gets, you know, I know you don't like to drop the F-bomb more than once, so I'll kind of fake it. But she does have a little bit of language because my late husband had some language, and I've been known to throw one out. Well, she's an African gray, so she doesn't just copy what she hears. She uses it appropriately sometimes. And one day she was playing with one of her toys, and I was really busy. Oh my gosh. And she wanted to get my attention, and she just couldn't get my attention. You know, I tell her, I love you, baby, but you know, not right now. You know, mommy's busy doing stuff. And after a while, she grabbed a hold of her toy and she shook it and she said, fuck, 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 you know. She got so frustrated with me. Oh, look, no, she's going to laugh with us. Yeah. She was frustrated, man.
Yeah,
and
they
I
are
so hard. And then, of course, I had to go pay attention because, you know, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
I wish dogs could talk that much. That would be awesome.
Oh, I know.
You know,
we've got one dog that's real talkative, and then we've got another dog that annoys very much. So when another dog starts to be talkative, you know, she gets very disturbed by the whole thing. Like, what are you doing? You know, like, you're not supposed to do that. But
trying to shut the other dog up.
Yeah.
The Chihuahua does that. If one of the other dogs starts barking too much, she'll do that. She like yells at them, "Shut up!" You know, it's funny. Yeah. So way back, you were talking about the fossils and stuff, and my question was going to be, how did you get into that? But you've already answered that. That's where you were going, so that was perfect. So it really was because you went to so many of those, and I'm with you. I loved going to those natural history museums. Absolutely loved it. Could spend all day there. The one in Chicago, I just loved going to that. We used to go, not all the time, but we would go often, and one of my favorite places to visit.
Yeah, I love it. I'll tell you, I have another funny story from there. When I first learned about a baculum, I don't know if you know what that is.
What is it?
A baculum, it's a penis bone. And some animals have them and some animals don't. And even at a young age, I mean, questions were answered for me. You know, my parents were hippies. If I had a question, they told me straight out in a language I could understand, but they told me.
Yeah.
And I remember standing there looking at the wall, and they had an articulated wolf up on the wall, and he had a pecker bone, and my parents were whispering to each other, and I was looking at it, and I knew that wasn't right. You know, something's not right about that picture. So I had to ask them, "What's that about?" And they were like, "I don't know. It's the first one we ever saw." So.
That's funny. The pecker bone.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to look here real quick. Okay.
Oh, you're okay.
All right, just had to. And again, for everybody that came in, 68 people currently. Thanks, everybody. We're not looking at the chat. Chat's not even open right now. So if you've got questions or you're saying hi and stuff and we have responded, that's why. Neither one of us can even see the chat. But the second half, we will open it up and we'll talk to the chat and let you guys ask some questions. Okay, so we talked about all the different places you lived, and now you said Tennessee would be someplace you'd like to move, but Oklahoma is definitely home.
Yeah, Oklahoma's it. This is where I've landed. I doubt we'll leave. Sometimes I talk about let's pack it all up and sell it all and move to Florida, and we've seriously discussed that. But it's just me and my mom. That's what's left of our family. So if one of us dies, if I died before her, I wouldn't want to uproot her and take her to Florida. She's lived in this area for 30 years, if not in this house. She's lived in this area, and so she has friends, and she has church, and she has, things that I wouldn't want to take her away from just so I could go sit on a beach for a couple of years.
Yeah, gotcha. So, there's a lot of support for her there.
Absolutely, that's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay. And if you could pick any place else, though, let's say there was, money was no problem. If you had any place in the world that you could go move to, where do you think it would be? Do you think you'd stay there still, or
Tahiti? No, I mean, I would want somewhere with, I don't know, if governments were perfect and all of that. If it was just a dream thing, then I want that blue, clear blue water and beautiful blue skies and sand, and it's just so soothing and good for the soul. And I don't know what the pull is about the ocean, but people who have felt it know. You can just sit there and get lost. So
yeah. I don't get to see the ocean much, but Lake Ontario has the same type of thing. I think any body of water that you can't see the other side has that same type of.
That's a big lake. Yeah,
it has that same type of feeling. Like I've paddled out far enough into the lake where I could not see land around me at all. Wow. There was no land, so all I could see was just water. And there was times when there would not even be any boats or anything. It was just me and some birds and just the very, slow undulating waves. And that is really, you talked about good for the soul. That's definitely, everybody should experience it once. It really should. It's something that does, it does something to you. It makes you, I don't know how to explain it. You just gotta do it.
It's soothing. It's good for you.
Yeah, definitely good for you. Okay. Well, we touched a little bit on your hobbies. You know what? Let's not go there first. Let's go back. You said you've been married a couple of times.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, where was the first one? When was the first one?
I was married when I was 17. I was not pregnant. I do not have children. I couldn't have children, or I would have had children. So I was just stupid. I got married when I was 17. My dad was still in the Army, and they got transferred to the Netherlands. And I was not real stable at the moment. And I didn't realize that, especially the youth, all speak English, so I wasn't prepared to go to a foreign country, and I just wasn't prepared for that. I couldn't hang with that. And my dad said, I'm not leaving you here with a boyfriend. The only way I'd leave you here is if you were married. Cha-ching! So I went and talked to him, and I was like, we're going to be together anyway. Can we just do this? Because, I do not want to move to the Netherlands, and never see you again or whatever. So we got married. He was horrible, though. He ended up being horrible. Well, he was, but I'm kind of a bad judge of character sometimes. Usually I can pin people down, but I tend to give them too much credit.
Oh, you're too kind to them. Yeah.
I know a psycho when I meet one, but I tend to really look on people's good things about them and kind of not really notice all the bad stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that's a positive trait, I think. I mean, I think that's a positive thing. I mean, I get it. It opens you up to being hurt more, but I think if more of us could do that and to focus on the positive sides of people, I think a lot of times people want to live up to that too. When you see the positive in them, they want to live up to that. They want to
That's true.
They don't want to let you down. So
that's true.
But
we were just kids, he couldn't be faithful for anything. He was a Marine that went all over the place. And I was one of those that, all of our friends, all the wives were cheating, all of them. They were all in their early 20s, and they were all cheating, and the husbands were all cheating. I was not cheating. I was at home. I had ficus trees, and I would sit and polish their leaves at night and stuff. I mean, I kept myself busy.
That's funny.
I don't get it. I just never got it.
Was that Florida?
No, that would have been Virginia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
One of the times.
How long were you married to him? What was his name?
Ken.
How long were you married to Ken?
Probably 6 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, most of my relationship, I can't think of one that was less than that. You know, they all were long standing because I'm very hard headed and I want them to work. You know, my problem is, I won't even tell you what my mom said. My problem is, I believe in commitment. I believe in commitment. You know, if you're going to be with me, if you say you love me and you're going to be with me for the rest of your life, then why wouldn't we get married? Now, I feel differently now, but I'm not in the dating scene. I don't date anymore. I don't do any of that. So, but I believed in that, you know, I'm committing myself to you. Are you committing yourself to me kind of thing? And so my only real problem was that I married them. I shouldn't have married them. Then I'd have a really good track record of, you know, how long did you stay with your boyfriends? You know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, you know, it wouldn't be, how many times have you been divorced? You know, we just won't even discuss it. So.
Well, we are going to discuss it.
Not that many, we're not. No, we're not.
Do you want to skip through some? What do you?
I can count them on less than one hand, but that's okay. You know, that's plenty. And I started very young, you know, so
yeah.
I've
only been married twice. But I've been through the divorce. So.
Yeah, it's no fun. And you know, and my late husband, I'm sure we'll get around to this, but I was with him for over a decade.
What was his name?
His name was Phil.
Phil, okay.
Phil, yeah, Philly. That was definitely my soulmate. That was the love of my life for sure. No doubt about that. We'd have been together still, you know, and we fought like cats and dogs sometimes, you know, but we had a very passionate relationship. You know, we were devoted. That's for sure. We were devoted, and everybody loved us. You know, they always said we had the real thing. They could see it, you know, on us. We didn't try to hide it much. And but you know, he died, and I met, oddly enough, my neighbor. I used to joke that he was the boy next door because I never met him when I was married. I never met him, and I had lived in that house for like 5 years. But after my husband died, the lawnmower was broken, and my property, like their yard, what looks like their yard, was part of my property. So I was responsible for basically mowing half their backyard. And I had to walk over there and tell them, you know, gosh, I'm sorry, but my lawnmower's broken and it's either going to grow or you guys can cut it, or until I can, you know, figure out my life now. And they were really sweet. Well, he and I started talking a lot. He was going through things. I was going through things. And I think I just was kind of, not that he wasn't great because he became my best friend for a while, but I think I was just overshadowing the loss of Phil.
Gotcha.
You know, it was like I couldn't cope, and I had something new in front of me that was good and happy, and that's where I wanted to focus. So, so that's what I did, and that turned out to be a nightmare. I ended up divorcing him a year later because he, you know, about 3 days into our marriage, he started acting crazy, like crazy. You know, he would record me. Oh my gosh, he would leave the tape recorders around. That didn't sit well with me at all, especially since I don't do anything, you know. But man, when I found out about that, that irritated me. That, and he always thought people were peeping in our windows, and he was acting paranoid all the time and just crazy, making me cry. And then I found out why. His dad had died, and his dad had narcolepsy, and so they give people with narcolepsy a medicine like speed. So when his dad died, he took all his dad's speed and was taking it. You know, unbeknownst to me, he just turned into this other crazy person.
I was going to say cocaine. That sounded like cocaine, but yeah.
Same thing, same basic thing. So finally, I got tired of crying every day. Every day. My mom said I cried every day for a year. I mean, every day. So, because he was just always upsetting me. And I was like, this is not my friend. You know, this guy had been my best friend. You know, I didn't understand what had happened until later. So we got divorced. And then he, 6 months down the line, he came back and apologized to me. You know, he had been raised in church and stuff. And he came back to me and apologized and told me what had been going on, and that he was back in church, and did I want to get back together with him? And I said no, but I will consider a friendship again, because I missed that a lot. We were good friends. So we became friends again, and then we basically started dating again. And then he tripped on a toy of his granddaughter's, and he had his neck fused, but he tripped on a toy and hit his head on his daughter's coffee table and broke his neck.
Oh
And
my
it
God.
paralyzed him. Yeah, it paralyzed him from the neck down. So we still, I mean, I didn't leave, but we knew that
Jesus.
we knew there wasn't much of a future in that because I couldn't physically take care of him with all my own physical issues. He lived with his mom, and he had his brother and sister to help, and other family. He had a lot of family here. So we were getting along good, and everything was fine, and we were back to being best friends and more or less dating. We didn't see anybody else. And then I went to see him on New Year's 3 years ago, and he had a problem with his pain meds. He always was taking too many pain meds. And I went to see him New Year's Eve, and he was so messed up he could barely hold his eyes open, And I fussed at him and told him I loved him and told him don't take any more tonight and all this kind of stuff. And then I didn't hear from him until it was like 11 o'clock the next day. I kept getting a phone call from a number I didn't recognize, and it was his uncle. And he had OD'd. He OD'd.
Wow.
So I was the last one to see him alive, because his mom didn't even see him in the morning. I saw him, and he went to bed and I guess fell asleep and died because he was so messed up. So
Yeah.
my mom says I'm a widow twice over, and I guess you could kind of consider it that way, although we weren't really married. I mean, I did lose two people in a row like that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
That would probably turn you off dating a little bit.
Yeah, and and the rest of it, whatever my health issues and just stuff, I'm too
Sure.
tired. I don't care anymore. I'm perfectly happy. My mom too, she's a widow, and we just say that we're the crazy widows on the hill that have all the dogs, and we've got a lot
Yeah.
of dogs. So
I gotta imagine that wasn't a good life for him at all, and being paralyzed like that.
no, it was really sad. It was a very sad thing. He
Uh,
handled it pretty well. I mean, you just have to. I think he could have gotten bitter, and he didn't. So that was good. And he wasn't taking those other drugs, so he was back to his sweet normal self. But he just got in too deep with those pain pills, and
Easy enough to do.
yeah, and he'd take a
It's nice
bunch
to
and then
not
not
feel
know.
pain.
Yeah, take a bunch, not know how many you've taken, think you need to take some more here in a minute. Pretty soon he's taking 30 of them, and it's like, dang,
Yeah.
dude, you know.
Yeah. I understand.
So
What about Phil? How did Phil pass away?
Phil died of a double aneurysm.
Mm,
He had an abdominal and an aortic aneurysm. His father and his brother had already died of aneurysms. So it was an inherited thing. And both were young. His father was young too, but his brother died at 30 something, mid 30s, died of a aortic aneurysm. And oh my gosh, sorry.
that's okay. You doing all right?
Yeah, I just had to shift around a little. I'm kind of crammed in a corner where I'm at, but yeah. So we expected him to die that way. We know that you can die any kind of way, but we did know that was on the table. So we made a lot of plans for. Well, we tried to make plans for, if and when that happened. And when the doctor said it was an aneurysm, I knew it was over. I knew that was it. They barely can fix that, and basically he didn't want any life support, but the doctor said that in the beginning, he said he might be able to help him get a certain kind of medicine that might help, but his kidneys were having problems doing that. So he wanted he wanted to know if I'd put him on a machine. And I said, well, how long will it take to know if the medicine's going to help? And he said, 12 hours. And I was like, well, put him on a machine for that. That's cool. But after that, they told me, no, it's not going to work. And And so basically what it came down to was I pulled the plug on him and he died. That's basically what it came down to.
Wow.
You know, it was like 20 minutes, I think it took him to die after that. But he was pretty, he didn't know it. You know, he was real far gone and he just didn't know that he died. So that was good. You know, he kind of died in his sleep or whatever. And his sisters were there. All his sisters got to fly in. So that was good. And they were very supportive, you know, like when he said something about, I don't know how else to put it, but pulling the plug, you know, I turned to them and I was like, how do y'all feel about this? You know?
Yeah.
And they were surprised I even asked them. You know, they said, honey, you're his wife. You know, that's up to you. And I said, well, luckily I had his guidance. You know, I knew what he did and didn't want. Yeah, I knew what he did and didn't want. And I knew they couldn't fix him. So
yeah, it's a conversation people don't want to have, but as you age, it's a good idea to have with your spouse.
It helps a lot.
Yeah, it takes a lot off the plate for them. A lot of guesswork or whatever. A lot of guilt.
That's right. Guilt. That's right. Yeah, because you know, I could feel guilty about it, but I've lost so many people. I mean, I hate to say this, but I've lost so many people that I'm familiar. You know, and it's just if you know what they want, then you can do that, and you know. It helps everybody all the way around. It really does. You know, you know that you did what they wanted, and so you can't, feel guilt about it or, you know.
I have not been in a situation, but we've had discussions, and you know, we know what we want, Michelle and I. So I think it is important. I think a lot of people do need to have those conversations when they get up there, like us. You know, when they start getting up in the age.
Exactly.
You know?
And see, Phil died when he was 51. I was only 43, so I was a widow at 43. So.
Oh wow! So yeah, he was still pretty young.
Yeah, very. Yep.
That runs in my family too. Both of my mom's side, my grandpa and my uncle Donnie both died of aneurysms, but they were both around 55. Actually, it was 11 days after their 55th birthday for both of them.
Wow.
Which is very strange. It's almost like it was built in.
Strange.
So I'm okay. I'm past. I've beat that. So,
okay.
Well, go ahead.
I was just going to say, oddly, my father also died of an aneurysm, but we don't know why that happened. It doesn't run in his family. It just knocked him out. He was in the back room playing poker on the computer. And I wasn't here. I lived in Florida, but the dogs ran in and told my mom, you know, that something was wrong. And she went back there and found him. So, and he died quickly. He died instantly. Like Phil kind of lived for a day and a half, you know, but my dad, it knocked my dad out of the chair. And that was the end of that. So,
yeah. Same with my grandpa, my uncle. My brother found my grandpa. He was living with them at the time and he found him.
That's hard.
But it was just like you said, it was, they said it was instant.
Yeah.
Same thing. So.
Yeah.
All right, let's shift gears a little bit. I do want to talk about your health issues a little bit, but let's talk about something else instead for a little bit. Sort of throw a chaser in there. You know what I mean? And again, I see 88 people in here, Bunny Viper. The 88 people came in to learn more about you. That's how well loved you are in the community.
Oh, thank you guys.
That's awesome. Let's talk about different hobbies. So you did talk about the fossils and stuff like that. And we know that you have birds and you have different animals and things. So what type of different hobbies do you have today that you can still do? And what kind of, well, let's go back. Let's say when you were a kid, what were some of your favorite things to do other than like the natural history museums and the fossils and stuff? Did you have other stuff that you really like doing?
Well, I was a tomboy, so I always had my feet in a creek, or else I was up a tree, or I was, you know. And in the house, I was always making crafts. You know, I've always made some kind of craft, be it, you know, decoupage, gluing things to stuff, or crocheting. I crocheted for a while, or just the same kind of stuff I do now. I think mainly then it was crafts, you know, just anything I could make, I would want to make it. You know, I used to make a lot of boxes, you know, for decorative boxes for people. I'd customize them all up, you know, whatever their favorite colors and their favorite pictures. And if they like seashells, I'd use a seashell for a knob, or, you know, just crafty, shrinky dinks even, you know, just any kind of. I used to make my dog's dog collars, you know, a little tag on their collar out of shrinky dinks.
So, and you still have that skill today, because I know I've seen some of your art.
Yeah, I don't draw as much as I used to. And poor Ed, oh gosh, Ed still does not have his painting. I go months where I'm sick, and I don't even want to make excuses about his painting, but I just want to say that it's hard on me because Nico is so special to him, that I want to give him something worthy of Nico, and you can't quite do that, so I want to get as close to that as I can for Ed, because I love Ed so much.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to do something totally different. Instead of like a realistic drawing, I'm trying to do something more, I don't want to say cartoony, but I don't know what else you'd call it, but I'm doing it in like fluorescent paints, black light paints that'll glow. And that's been really tricky. I'm not used to that style. I'm not used to that paint. I'm not, it's thin and weird, but it's coming out okay. And I've talked to Ed about it, and apologized. And of course he's so precious, he's so sweet.
Yeah.
One day he'll get it. And then what I hope to do is turn around and make him a realistic drawing of Nico and send to him, because I think that's what he originally wanted, but with all the colors and all the action heroes and all the stuff, that kind of stuff, the sci-fi, all that kind of stuff he likes so much. I kind of want to give him something wild, with Nico. And Nico has to have short hair, and it has to be white, and so not the easiest to handle. Bex can handle it. I'm having a hard time.
I'm sure no matter what it is, he'll love it because you made it for him. Because that's the kind of person Ed is. He's just like that, so.
Ed's precious. I love Ed so much. I mean, what a neat guy is he, man.
Yeah.
Ed's a good guy.
One of my best friends in the fish fam for sure. Somebody I talk to almost every day. It's weird that we go a couple days without talking.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he's just a good guy.
Well, I know he loves you too. So.
We're friends. We're friends for sure. What other kind of hobbies today do you do though? What because again, you have the health issues that limit you in quite different ways. What are some of the things that you like to do with your spare time?
Well, I read a lot. I do.
What do you like to read?
Oh well, I kind of go through a lot of Kuntz and Stephen King and that kind of thing.
Do you like these types of books? Are you?
No. That's I don't think. Well, I have read one somewhere, so maybe it got passed around in junior high. Maybe I don't know. Yeah, I don't read that. I do like the horror kind of stories. Lovecraft is cool to me. Janet Ivanovich. I don't know if you've ever read any of her books, but that's very entertaining.
I have not, but I know who she is. Yeah.
Yeah, they're just dumb, entertaining. Books, and that's what I like about books is they take you somewhere else, so
sure. Yeah.
And then I guess my other real big thing is photography.
Okay.
I'm not like Ed was into photography and he knew all about his camera and all the lenses, and I don't know any of that. I know none of that. I just now at this point use my iPhone. I think it's one of the best cameras out there. And I don't know a lot about it, but I'm more kind of point and click, and that just my pictures turn out okay because I try to get them in a good composition, and I'm very patient because it's animals usually that I'm photographing, and you can take 500 pictures of a dog and you might get the one you wanted out of that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love photography because I have something. What's it called? It's aphantasia. This also makes art difficult. It's where you have no visual memory. I can't pull up an image in my head. Like if I told you, picture Ronald McDonald on a surfboard, you'd be able to do that more or less. You know what I mean? Where I can't pull up that image at all. I get like nothing, or how TVs used to look where they're black and white, staticky. That's what it looks like. So I joke that my brain is empty, but I just don't have visual memory. So
I've never heard of
that. Photographs to me are in particular a really good way for me to pull a memory,
Gotcha.
So
okay. Yeah, I could see how that would make them a lot more important to you to be able to capture things like that.
And that's probably my favorite, hobby is taking pictures and stuff.
Gotcha.
Truly. So yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that you were into that one. That one's cool. I like taking pictures as well, but I don't know if they're good or not. I just know that it captured something that I love or enjoy, and that's the important part of it to me. So,
Well,
what
yeah.
what different pets do you have? And we've got the bird. You've got a lot of different fish. What else? What else do you have? You got the dogs.
We've
2
got
dogs?
dogs. Yeah, we've got. How many dogs do we have? Let's see.
Oh,
Yeah, no, we've got
you
7.
did say the crazy widows on the hill with the dogs.
Yeah, it might be 8. Let me think. I don't know. There's 7 or 8 dogs around here. And I'll tell you how that came to be. Only one of those dogs was purchased, and it's a AKC weenie dog that my mom wanted, a mini weenie dog, and she bought that dog. All the rest of them are strays. And where we live out in the country, people just dump them like they can survive, which they can't.
Yeah.
Cats have a better chance. Some cats, might have a better chance. Dogs, absolutely not. And I've brought home more. I mean, we've been doing it for years before we started keeping them. We'd find one, we'd get it healthy, we'd get it shots, we'd get it neutered, we find it at home. And I know we've done that for well over 100 dogs. So,
Wow.
yeah, over,
Thank you. Thank you.
well, over the years,
Yeah.
And all these animals have shown up, and they kind of all showed up at a really good time because people were dumping them left and right for some reason over a period of like 2 years. And it was right after, I mean, we lost everybody in our family, almost everybody, over an 11-month period. That's my mom's parents, my grandparents, my uncles, my dad, her husband, my husband. So we lost everybody, just one reason or another, and it just crushed us. And so here we are standing there kind of deer in the headlight, what do we do?
Yeah.
And people would abandon these dogs, and we had mass amounts of time and love, and we'd be like, oh, poor puppy's coming to live with us.
Yeah,
And
they were there for you. I get that.
Yeah. So we've got
That's awesome.
a bunch, but we've got a lot of them are older now, and going to be on their way out pretty soon. So
yeah, that's tough too.
yeah.
Do you have a favorite out of all the dogs? Do you have a favorite one?
Well, you know how it is. You love them all differently. I have a dog named Rudy he's my sweetheart, and he's been with me probably the longest of any of the dogs. I've had him for, 12 years. And I found him, he was probably 1 year old. He was neutered already, but he was gun shy. And I think that's probably what happened was he was somebody's failed gun dog,
Gotcha.
And I couldn't integrate him into my house for a while. So we had him in a doghouse in the front yard, and he stayed. He had free run. He could leave if he wanted to, and I kept hoping somebody'd come claim him, but nobody ever claimed him. And after about a year, I got him mixed in, one dog left. And so we had room and he could come in and there wasn't the fighting anymore. And he's super cool. He loves peppermints, like Lifesaver peppermints. He loves them. His eyes will get big. Yeah, he gets real excited. And
that's a weird thing.
I know. And here's another weird thing. You can fake him out if you go between his. He doesn't like ticks, and of course we treat him all with tick medicine and all that. But if you go somewhere on his body and just get 2 hairs and pull them out like you're picking a bug off, you can go, ew, it's a bug. And he'll smell it and he'll go. He spits and flings it everywhere, and there's nothing there. But he can't stand the idea of it. So
yeah,
I need to try to get that on tape because that's
funny.
You
do. I would love to see that.
That's very funny.
You know how much I love dogs, so that's
yeah.
They're my favorite by far. And
well, I've got 2 now in this room that were strays, and they are not integrated with the rest of the dogs. So Rudy and Catfish is my other dog. They live in the back half of the house with my mom most of the time now, so that I can bring these other 2 in out of the cold, till we can get them all mixed together. I think I think a couple of dogs are going to have to die before we can integrate them, because some of these dogs are old and fed up with new orphans. They're
gotcha.
They don't want any more.
Yeah.
They'll have no more of that.
So the dogs, you've got the African gray, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what else you got in the house?
Fish.
Yeah, and you
Lots
got a lot
fish.
of. How many tanks do you have?
Right now, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 7 running.
Okay.
and then I've got this 180 that eventually I will get to. It's a monster. You know, there's days when I just want to give it to someone. I just want someone to come get it and take the fish that I've got and set it up at their house and live happily ever after.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's days when there's no way I want to do that. You know, I got it when I sold my house because it's a custom aquariums one, so I'm sure I paid way too much money, but it's a very nice aquarium. It's got 1/2-inch thick glass, and it's got a canopy, and it's got a hardwood, you know, base and all that. And it's a 180, if I didn't say that, so it's a big tank. And all my fish, I mean, I've been raising them for a year or better. Now they're in a 60-gallon. And I do a lot of water changes. It's heavily stocked, you know, and I do a lot of water changes. And I just need, you know, I bought an actual full-size ladder to take care of that aquarium. So that's going to be, it's going to be a bit of a chore.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
It's difficult to get around. Well, that's a good segue. So you have quite a few different health issues.
I do.
So what's going on? What type of different hardships are you dealing with that way?
Well, I've had 6 back surgeries. My mom has scoliosis. She's had basically the same surgeries as me. We're both fused. I'm fused from my tailbone to up between my shoulder blades.
Wow.
And I've got all the hardware and stuff, but right now something's broken. And I lean to the left, despite the fact I'm leaning left. I do lean to the left a lot. I'll walk into door frames because I misjudge them now, because I'm just kind of cocked to the side. And as I get tired, I start to, you know, hunch over. So that's a drag. And then I've got both my hips need to be replaced. And I've been talking to a surgeon about that, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that because they're saying like I have COPD, stage 4 COPD. And that's so bad that they think if I went under anesthesia, I might come out on a ventilator. So I'm like, golly, I think I'd rather not.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll deal with the hips.
Yeah, I'm scared of that because I'm afraid I'm going to end up in a wheelchair or something. And I don't want my mom pushing a wheelchair around. That's pathetic. So, not to mention the vehicle you have to have and the, you know, so I don't know what I'm going to do at this point, but I have no cartilage left in my hip. So there's a lot of pain goes with that.
Yeah, I know that one. I've got that just on one side, though. I'm lucky. It's only my left side. So at least I'm lucky in that, but I know that pain.
Well, my left side is the one that's the worst one. You know, that's the one I was going to have done first. Now
we're twinsies.
Yeah. I wish we weren't in that regard. That's unfortunate. Yeah. So there's that. And then I have stage 4 COPD, which is just, you know, 30 years of smoking. Gotcha. You know, I did that to myself. So yeah.
And that's probably what bothers you the most, right? I know that has caused you to cancel some of your plans and stuff. And
that's right. That's exactly right. And it'll hit you out of nowhere. Like was it the first? Yeah, because the second one, it was smoke inhalation that got me. The first time I had my bag packed, I was ready. That morning I got up and tried to pull the suitcase across the room and knew I'd never be able to do it. I couldn't do it because I'd gotten hit with an exacerbation. They just come out of nowhere and just all of a sudden you can't breathe anymore and you end up in the hospital and, you know.
Does anxiety contribute to that in any way? I mean, were you anxious about the trip and did that have any bearing on it at all, you think?
You know, I don't know. That's a good question. I know, like, if you get panic attacks, you already can't breathe. And I don't have a lot of panic attacks, but I have been known to have them. So I don't know. I was really excited about the trip, and I was heartbroken not to go. And the second trip was I have a what do they call them? Well, she's an assistant, basically. She comes over and she basically is a maid for me. She sweeps and mops and does stuff I can't do. And then, and she'll run errands and stuff. Well, they bought a new car. It was an old car, but they bought it. They'd had it for like 2 days. She pulled it up in the driveway. We're inside the house and we both hear this kind of pop noise. Well, I ignored it and she wanted to know what it was. So we opened the door to see what it was. Thank goodness, because her engine was on fire.
Oh, Jesus.
So, yeah, on the new car they just got. So I ran over and got a water hose and she called the fire department and I was trying to keep it under control until they got there because it was pretty close to a tree and it was right outside my door. So I really didn't want a whole car fire in my driveway. But trying to put it out, it was very windy, you know, and trying to put it out, I kept getting hit with the smoke that was burning plastic and burning metal and burning. And so that wiped me out for the class.
Yeah.
There was just no way.
Okay.
That
I didn't know that.
heart.
I didn't know that. I knew that you had a what do you call it? Do you call it a flare-up? Exacerbation. Okay.
Yeah, that's what they call it. So
okay. I knew that happened, but I didn't know about the car things.
Yeah, that's what happened. And I stayed sick for probably a week after that, and if not longer. And I know I cried for a week. I was so upset. I was so distraught for missing that. I wanted to go so much. So
well, maybe this next year, you know, hopefully.
You know, that's probably going to be my only shot. And even that, I need to talk to my doctor and see what they say about me flying. Because I don't know how that would affect my lungs. I heard somebody say something about it in a movie the other day, and I thought, well, golly, that had never even occurred to me. You know, it had occurred to me, like, what would I do if there was a problem on the plane? Because you've got a real problem, you know.
Yeah.
On the plane, but
I'm just, you know, thinking of people who are driving that maybe could go through Oklahoma or something, and maybe that's a possibility because at least the driving's a little slower.
Yeah, I couldn't drive that far.
No, but I mean, you mean like even being a passenger would be too hard.
No,
I get it. Okay. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I know you understand that. Yeah, I can't. It would take me forever to get somewhere. I'd have to constantly be stopping, and I just don't see myself being able to make that big of a.
Yep, I do
trip.
Understand that. Yep,
but
I'm in the same boat.
I can find out. You know, I can look into it and see what they say and see how my health gets closer to it. I've thought about going ahead and renting the rooms, but I did want to see what the doctor said about the airplane. Because if she said no way that's out, then there's no point, you know.
Yeah.
But you know,
well, we would love to see you there, and anybody else too. You know, the Keystone Clash is a lot of fun. It's in Morgantown, Pennsylvania, southeast portion of Pennsylvania. It's a blast. This last year there was like I think 65, 70 fish fan people there. A ton of people from our community, and it's just a great event. It's a lot of fun. We just get to hang out. It's a little bit more low key than like your Aquashellas and stuff. It's just a blast. So, okay. We're right about an hour into it. So why don't we go ahead and, is there anything that you want to tell us? I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff we didn't talk about. You're more than just, you know, your illnesses and stuff. Is there anything that we didn't really touch on that,
no, I mean, we can probably come up with stories all night long, but that pretty much covers the bases. You know, I got married a lot, stayed married a lot, you know, worked a few jobs here and there, and that's about it.
We didn't talk about your work history. Did you have any jobs that really stood out as different or fun or that you absolutely hated or anything like that?
My mom reminded me of the first job I ever had, which I made up myself. I was about 6, and the government put in all these beautiful trees on the Army base, and underneath those trees were these beautiful mounds of dirt. And I thought it would just be the best dirt in the world to grow potted flowers in. So I took my lunch bags and went and filled them up with dirt from the military, and then put them in a wagon and went around selling them door to door for $2. I sold every one of them. And then when I got home, you know, my dad made sure to give me a lecture on why I cannot steal military, you know, dirt. So
that's
I was
U.S. government dirt.
You know, I didn't mind working. No, I've just had little piddly jobs. You know, my first real job, I worked in an ice cream shop at the beach. That was very cool. Shouldn't have. I was 13 years old and they knew it. So I don't know, but they trusted me. I opened and closed that store. I mean, at 13. Wow. So, and it was right there on the boardwalk. So it was very interesting. And I took my first paycheck from my first job and went 2 doors down to a jewelry shop and bought my mom an opal ring with it.
Oh,
I wanted her to have that ring so bad. That's our favorite stone is opals, you know, and she loved them at the time. And there was this little tiny, you know, opal ring for $70 back then. And I bought it with my whole first paycheck.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. What about channel stuff too? Is there anything like you want to promote for your channel? Is you got anything coming up or anything? I'm sure that the mods have been dropping links and stuff. If not, make sure you guys do, please. If you would, I do see. Hi, Lori. I just opened up the chat. All right. So chat is open now. So now's a good time. And how are you doing? You feeling okay? You're still good?
Oh yeah, I'm okay. It'd
Okay.
probably be okay if I could stand up and walk around for a minute. That might be
You
okay.
want to take a break? You can
Yeah,
turn your camera off and go walk
yeah.
around, get a
Let me do
drink or
that for
something.
just for a second.
Okay.
That'd be great. I'll just
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
stretch and come back.
Okay.
And
I can talk about Fish Fam Christmas a little bit and jump into some of those things while
okay,
you're taking a break.
okay, cool.
Take your time. I want you to be
Okay,
comfortable. So
I'll be right back.
81 people. Thanks so much still for hanging out with us the whole time. If there was any super chats or anything like that, I missed them. I apologize. Like I said, I didn't have the chat open at all. And when we come back, we will do that. But the Friday live stream, yes, Friday live stream. We'll talk about that. I've been ordered to remind you about the Friday live stream. The Friday live stream about Fish Fam Christmas, Scotty. That's what you're talking about. Because this Friday, so all of the prize packages for all the channels involved in Fish Fam Christmas, we've got those all set. We've got those all together. This Friday, we're going to spin the wheel. What we're going to do is we have the list. Here's number one. This is a prize package. We're going to spin the wheel. Whatever channel is the first one gets that prize package. That way, everybody can see what channel has what prizes to give away. Again, you won't know when they're giving those prizes away. December 18th through January 1st, through the 1st. We'll have at least a stream every single day over that period. But you'll be able to see what is being given away, just not when. So if you want to win some of those prizes, and it's roughly about $150 per channel we're giving away. And I believe there's 49 channels now. A couple people did have to back out, unfortunately. Some personal things came up. I believe there's 49 channels. But yes, I was reading the chat and I lost my train of thought. 49 channels with roughly $150 per channel. Some channels will have some bigger prizes because they're prizes that are worth, $200 or something, and there's no way to split those up, right? So some channels will have a bigger prize, but you guys will get to watch and see, that it's 100% random. Nobody's picking that these channels get that or anything like that. 100% random. So, yeah, it's coming up quick. Okay. All right. So let me scroll up here. Welcome back. How you doing?
Hi. Good. Thanks. That was good. I just need to stretch a little bit.
Not a problem.
I can't see chat at all. Well, I can try. Let me see.
No, that's okay. Unless you want to, but I can feed those. And again, everybody, I'm going to be looking for the @RicoStan. You need to, make it pop out for me because there's a lot of talking and everything going on. And but yeah, do the @RicoStan, and I will see that. And the very first one I see is from our buddy Mark Strelson. That's at 7:55 my time. So if you ask any questions or said anything before that point, I'm not going to see it. So go ahead and please repost it for me. So Mark is doing the Myrtle question. Do you know what the Myrtle question is?
Is that what we change about each other?
It is. So what would I change about you, and what would you change about me?
Okay. Who goes first?
I'm going to go first this time because I'm going to, what I would change about you is your COPD. I would take that away from you 100%. A lot of times we talk about those, what would we change about each other, and people have hardships in their life. I say I wouldn't take that away from you because it's made you who you are, but that's right. Is something that's not made you who you are. It's taken you away from who you are. You've got enough on your plate already, so I would take that off your plate.
Well, and I thank you, and my answer would be just about the same, Rico. That's always been an easy question for me. I would take away the RA. I would give you I give your health back, so that you could travel and do the things you want to do, and that's a number one good thing. I'm not supposed. I'll just drop this right now. I'm not supposed to have that much longer to live. Like, I don't know. 7 years ago or 5 years ago, they told me 7 years. So according to their clock, we're talking 2 years. I don't know about that. I know when I have an exacerbation, that's really difficult. And it scares me. And most of the time I go unconscious. So I've told my mom, you know, if I go out, that's going to be how it is. I'm either going to fall asleep and not wake up, or I'm going to have one of those things where I pass out and don't know anything. So that's a blessing in itself. But it's very scary when all of a sudden you can't breathe and, you know, but, you know, I did that to myself. So I would just say the same thing that no one's going to listen to, you know, don't smoke. That's what I would say.
Yeah. People don't want to listen. They've got to experience it themselves.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but,
no.
And I'm not, you know, nobody knows your timeline. I have a very intelligent doctor. I think she's very wise and has a lot of experience with this, but nobody knows your timeline. And I could step out tomorrow and get hit by a bus. So,
sure.
You know, so I'm not looking at a calendar with a time frame mostly. Kind of I do. Kind of it's like, well, you know, you better do this and you better do that if you want to get it done ever. But I don't let it bother me. I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
We're all going to die. So
Yep.
No sense in worrying about it.
We have a lot in common that way. A lot of we're definitely paddling the same kayak.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, so I got that. MNC said Dan Heitschu, which is Everyday Aquatics, his mother-in-law passed away Saturday morning.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that. Sorry to hear about that. Yeah, very sorry.
Dan's a good guy. I like Dan. He doesn't really do much with the fish fam, but he's got some really good content, and he seems like a good guy. I bought some plants and stuff from him and exchanged emails a few times. He's a nice guy.
I tell you, Luke Wong's plants were beautiful that he sent to me.
Yeah.
Mark got those for me in the auction. He got some for Lady Rorschach too, and they're absolutely beautiful. I know, right? He's a doll. He's a doll. He's my bestie. Lady Rorschach's my bestie girl. But I'm man. I've got some good girlfriends in there. You know, I've got good friends in here. We all do. You know, I feel like I've never seen such a community, and that's the truth. I mean, the experiences I've had moving all around, and I've met thousands and thousands of people, and you know, and I've just never seen a group that's so amazing. They're so loving and supportive towards everyone, and you know, I'm blessed to be a part of it. I'm happy to be a part of it.
Yeah,
I'm lucky.
I exactly. That's exactly how I feel. Yep, I do feel lucky that I've been allowed to be a part of the community and partake of the camaraderie that exists there. And yeah, we got our issues. We got people. We've got problems. But you know, people are gonna people.
That's right.
You know?
That's exactly right. And I think all told, it's pretty minimal. You know, considering
it is. It is. It's a very, very minuscule amount of it. So. K-Stu says this calm and nice red Severn we've had for a few years is just going on a rampage right now. Okay, so the next one I see is from our friend Jess, Lady Metalhead. If you could change one thing about the way you keep fish, what would it be and why? Is there anything?
Well, probably just the ease of their care would be nice. You know, I give them water changes every week. If I could handle more tanks, I would have more tanks. Gotcha. I had things divided up for a long time. I had all these little babies divided up, and I was like, you know what? They just need one big tank until I can get a bigger tank. And so I got the 60 for them, you know. But, you know, my mind and fish keepers' minds, as soon as that one's done, what are you going to do with it? You know, I already have plans for what I think I might like to do with it. So it's a neat 60. It's one of, I don't know, I guess you call it a 60 tall or a 60 show. It's a 4 foot long by 2 feet tall by only 1 foot deep. So they're kind of forced forward, I guess, where you can see them. But yeah, I think what would be cool is I'd really like to put a bunch of Val in the back and then get a bunch of you know, I don't know, 200 neons or something in there and use it as a headboard, you know.
Oh yeah. Neons are cool in massive groups like that.
And
there's I say it's a local fish store, but it's a good hour away from me, hour and 15 minutes. Actually, they just moved, so it's even a little bit farther. But they have a huge tank that's just all neons in there, and it just looks amazing. I don't even know what size it is. Not huge, but it's like a 125, and it's just all neons. That's it, and it's just it looks so cool.
Yeah, they always remind me. It always reminds me of a lava lamp for some reason. I don't know.
So when I kept fish as a kid, I had right next to my bed, I had a dresser. It was like it was touching my bed. And on the top of that dresser, I had a 10-gallon aquarium with some neons and some other little fish in there. And I was sleeping one night and I woke up and I thought my eye had popped out of the socket. My eye was like moving around right here. I was laying on my back and my eye was like out. And I started screaming. I was about 10 years old, somewhere around there. I started like screaming. And so my mom came running in and I was like pushing on it, trying to get my eye back in the socket. And she goes, let me see. And I took my hand away and she started laughing. I was like, what is it? Crying and stuff. And well, one of the neons had jumped out of that 10-gallon and landed right in my eye socket. And I smushed it on my face because I woke up and I thought it was my eyeball because it was squirming around right here.
Oh my gosh, Rico.
So I pushed it in. She reminded me of that story for a long time. I see. Hi, Patty.
Oh my goodness. I think I'd add more plants. If I could add more plants, I'd put plants back in.
That would be something you would change?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And I got this Severum. I kind of adopted him. He was kind of a one-off kind of thing. And I didn't know they'd eat all your plants. And I had, planted tank plans. So now I'm trying to find him a home. And I've got a girlfriend that was into tanks and she's starting to set some up. So I'm hoping she really likes him. I hope she's going to set up a big one and can take him.
Did you get her involved in fish keeping or she already like it?
She used to be years ago, but I know I started that fire again because she comes over and they're, they're everywhere. And she didn't know you could grow plants but she needs a reminder. Like I was helping her with parts, I told her I can give her this part and that part and she would need this and that. And I said something about airline tubing and she wrote me back and she said, what's that? And I thought, oh no.
You're going to be holding her hand a lot.
Yeah, I gotta have some airline tubing. So, and she said she'd forgotten how it gets so expensive. You know what it does? You go putting these things together, and it's just like, golly, man.
Yeah, you could do some things to mitigate the cost, but not
absolutely. And
but not, there's some do-it-yourself stuff, but I mean, you can't do it yourself airline tubing. I mean,
right.
I mean, maybe you could do something with like tape or something. I suppose, but you're probably not saving any money with all the time.
Right.
Let's see. Next up is Scuba Steve. Oh, tell them what Saturday is. Scuba Steve. Scuba Steve seems to be very excited about this coming Saturday. We're doing another focus on, and Scuba Steve will be our guest for that one. So we'll have Scuba Steve on that one. So let's see. So the next one is Mountain Greenery. Hello. I like this one. He's been asking this one a lot too. If you could live in the aquarium, which one would it be? Oh. So you live in there as like a little mermaid or a fish or something. You're part of it. Which one would you like to live in?
Well, the 60's pretty crowded. I don't know. I might live in my guppy tank. I've got some pretty like the blue Hawaiian Moscow guppies.
Oh yeah, those are beautiful. Love those.
I've got wood and plants in there, and then there are some of the Australian rainbows. So there's some of those in there, and then I've got the longfin cories from Foxy are in there. Baby, what is it? Yeah, can you hear him?
Yeah.
That's my talker. That's Cooper. What? You want to go outside? Let me let him outside. I'm sorry.
Okay. Nope.
Just a second.
No worries. I understand.
Okay.
I understand. Jimmy P, hello. Metalheads, what's going on? Craig Doniger, Patty. Hi, Patty. Patty. And I do see Nano Aquarium guy. That's the next question. I'd give Rico cornrows. MNC understands living in pain every day. Yep, you understand, man. I know you do. I would take away Rico's 2-week-old spam ham smell. Oh, Patty. Okay, and I got Lady Rorschach. Hello. We'll get to those. I see Glitch. Hi, Glitch. The wretched hamster story and now this. Okay. Oh, I have to scroll back up now. I lost it.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, that's okay. I was just scrolling through and okay, so we talked about that one. So next up is Nano Aquarium Guy. I know she mentioned her favorite book, but what are her favorite movie and TV genres?
Oh, well, I don't watch TV. I haven't watched TV in 20 years. YouTube's my TV.
Okay.
So I watch that. And I have Amazon Prime. I watch movies on that. Probably my favorite movie of all time is Young Frankenstein.
Good choice. Yeah.
I know every word to that. I mean, yeah. I know every word to that movie is so great. I know I've seen it 100 times. I know I have.
Yeah.
Over my lifetime. And
good choice.
So that's one of my favorites. Probably my favorite cult classic, same kind of genre though, is which I'm not really into horror movies, but I really love The Howling from the 80s. It has the worst like makeup stuff when they're turning.
With,
it's horrible.
No, that's not. I can't remember that one. Is it werewolves?
Yeah, The Howling.
I feel like I read the book.
Probably. The movie, the monster makeup is horrible. It's just absolutely awful. But the movie still stands. It's still a really good psychological thriller. The guy was like a serial killer wolf guy. So I dig that movie a lot. What have I seen recently? I like Liam Neeson movies, which I would tell you I didn't like that kind of movie either, but I'd be lying because I do.
Yeah.
So
like Taken, Bananas.
I like I like thrillers a lot.
Yeah.
And I like psychological thrillers especially. That was something I was very interested in doing, Rico, when I was a young person. I wanted to do craniofacial reconstruction, where they build I don't know if they do it anymore, but they put the clay on skulls to help find people. There's been a couple of murders in my family, so that probably spurred that on a little bit,
We didn't talk about the taxidermy at all.
Oh, I know. What's wrong with you?
How did we skip over that? Real quick, before we get to the next question, which would be from Lady Rorschach. Okay. Tell us a little bit, how did you get into taxidermy? How much do you do? When's the last time you did it? Tell us just a little bit about it.
I got into it because I was living in Florida in a really sleazy rental. And I had birds back then too. And there's rats that live in the palm trees. And they were coming in through a hole in the ceiling in the closet, which I finally found. And I was trapping them and killing them. And I didn't know what to do with them, but they were real pretty. They were gray with a white belly. And I thought this would make a cool dollhouse rug. Right? So that's what I did. I wanted to make use of the animals, and I was going to make a dollhouse rug. And so I started getting on taxidermy websites, trying to find out how do you taxidermy a rat skin. Well, I caught a lot of flack for it. A lot of people joked and teased, but then I made a bunch of rat skin rugs and sold them. So I'd sell them at gun shows and stuff. People would buy them for novelties. People would buy them for their kids' dollhouses. Sometimes they had the tail. I started doing it when I had access to some chipmunks. I did that. I got some chipmunks, and they were really cool.
Yeah.
I kept thinking I couldn't breed them to kill them, which is unfortunate because I always thought the black and white rats would be the coolest. It looks like a little cowskin rug. But so that's how I got started into it. And then I realized that, it wasn't just stuffing a bunch of deer heads. You didn't have to go that route where you did that all day long. You could get into competitions. And what appealed to me about that was their habitats, building all their habitats and stuff. So in school, I always built the little dioramas. You get the shoebox and you put the dinosaurs. And I was always into that. I never played with dolls. I was always playing with animals, little animals. And once I saw competition pieces, I just fell madly in love with them because I just thought they were so beautiful. And so I found a taxidermist that was pretty local to me. I offered to work for him for free just to teach me. And that's what I did. He was my mentor, and he helps me do all kinds of things. I've got a freezer full of animals right now. I don't know if I'll ever be able to get back to it, but I've got a lynx, I've got a bear, I've got some
Wow.
really amazing pieces that I'd love to do something with. And one thing that always interested me back to those diorama kind of things was Victorian taxidermy, because it was funny. I don't know where they got their little kittens and bunnies and stuff. I don't want to know, but they'd have 30 kittens sitting in the classroom. You know, they build a little classroom and they'd all be doing stuff. And you know, or like boxing squirrels, you know, that kind of stuff just cracked me up. So I would save any mice that I killed. I was saving mice. I probably have 50 mice in my freezer because I wanted to freeze dry them. You can, well, I have a separate freezer, but
I
you
figured.
can,
Yeah.
you can freeze dry them into position where you don't have to gut them and do all that stuff. And to me, that would be more difficult because they don't really make a mouse form, you know, the body. They don't really make that. You have to wrap something and stuff them. And I didn't want them to look like, you know, stuffed little rats. I wanted them to be cute. So I was going to build a freeze dryer and pose them and then build little diorama scenes out of dollhouse furniture and stuff, which I've got a bunch of that stuff. And if I ever find it, I'm going to send it to Susie Q, you know, since she is all into miniatures.
Yeah, she's big into those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's definitely a more unique type hobby. I can't believe we didn't touch on that. I totally forgot about that.
The first piece I ever did completely on my own was a red fox. And I took him to the Florida State Taxidermy Championships, and I won for the professional division. I won the top 8 awards. I like kind of creamed the whole thing. That's how it works. Like, though, when they find a piece that's they consider that good, then it tends to pick up all the awards. You know, it tends to. So, and frankly, I was embarrassed. I mean, I didn't want to win everything, and I mean, there was some other prizes given, but I really honestly won the top 8 awards. So it was kind of, I had to keep going back up on stage in front of people. And I was just like, you know, give it to some other people. These people have been working hard. You know, they've been working hard on these pieces. Let somebody win something.
Yeah. That's like Grant and Shelby at the Keystone Clash when they were doing the raffles. Grant and Shelby won a bunch of stuff. They just kept winning over and over. And finally, the one time Grant got up because he won again, and I started booing. And so I was sitting at the same table with Grant and Shelby, and so everybody was booing him every time he went up to win because he won so much stuff. It was funny. He was getting embarrassed because he won so much.
Yeah.
Okay, Lady Rorschach, here we go. She says, first, Bunny looks gorgeous as always.
Oh, thanks.
She says she'll steal from Alan Alda again. What is something that you wish you really knew, like you were an expert on? What is a book? Oh, two different parts. We'll start with the first part. Something that you wish you really knew, something that you just had all the knowledge about and just really knew in depth, like you could give talks on.
Forensic psychology.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, definitely. Abnormal psychology, forensic psychology. Absolutely. Yeah.
Are you into the true crime stuff too? Do you listen to those
podcasts?
Podcasts? Yeah. That's so weird. So many women are really into that true crime stuff. And I saw somebody mention why. Oh, that they said that a lot of women are looking at it as to know how to get out of things. That was horrible.
Well, you can learn a lot that way, I suppose. You know,
they watch much of it to know how to protect themselves in certain situations.
Yeah, definitely. You can learn. You can learn a lot. Unfortunately, a lot of times you don't know what kind of psychopath you're dealing with. You know, you might think he wants you to cooperate, and that may not be what he wants out of you. So it's just always fascinated me, you know, what makes a broken person, you know.
Sure. Yeah, because we're all a little broken, but
absolutely.
Yeah, some of us just have, I was gonna say bigger cracks than other, but I knew how
shattered. Yeah. They're shattered.
And then the second part of her question is, what is a book that changed your life?
Well, gosh, that'd be hard. And it really, you know, I got to say, the thing that pops into my head is not one particular book, but all of Dean Koontz's books. When my dad died, my mom went nuts, man. She went nuts because they were together. She was 13 when she met my dad. So they were together. They grew up together. And they were together almost 45 years. So she lost her mind. And I don't know what that's got to do with anything, except I had to stay focused. You know what I mean? I couldn't grieve. I needed to take care of my mom. And so we were reading a lot, and I was reading Dean Koontz books, but I'd read them first because anytime there was like a CPR scene in it, or any kind of thing that I thought was too disturbing for my mom, I was the editor. I'd read them first. And as far as that goes, I would say that set of books helped me survive through that time.
Gotcha.
So they did have a big impact on my life in that way. It's probably not what she was looking for, but that's that's about right.
Is there one of those books that really stands out? One of his books?
Not really. They kind of all blur together, to tell you the truth.
I know I've read some. I've read quite a few, but I couldn't even, right now at the top of my head, I couldn't even tell you a single one of the titles.
I probably couldn't either. I have a real hard time with memory too, because I went through that time where I got in a car crash and smacked my head, and then I started having seizures for 2 years, and I was having grand mals where I broke my nose 2 or 3 times and cracked my eye socket, and so I was really doing some damage to my head, and I've lost a lot of memory, so I have a hard time recalling, things like that. Yeah,
I as well, but not because of that. Just that I was just rough to my brain when I was a kid. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I hear you.
Let's see. How do you combat an impulsive talker? That's from Lady Rorschach. An impulsive talker.
Wow.
I don't know. I feel attacked.
Yeah.
because I talk so much. I mean,
No. And I would say, if she figures it out, let me know. I don't know.
I guess don't even listen to them. Walk away.
You could walk away. You could ask them questions and try to direct some of that vomit, but otherwise,
I can walk away. That's one thing I do have, is that it's not that hard for me to walk away from people, from situations. I have I don't need to stay there. You know what I mean? I don't need to endure it. It doesn't do anything for me. I can walk away.
That's probably the best way to handle it, honestly.
And then again, Lady Rorschach says, how do you approach someone who has their facts wrong? How do you correct somebody who has their facts wrong? Well, I guess it depends on what it is. Is it something that I need to correct, or is it something that I need to just not even worry about and let them do their own thing? Is it affecting somebody's life? Is it affecting anything? If so, then I try to show them. But the thing is, so many people refuse to actually accept facts, especially in today's society. People can be presented with facts, actual facts in their face, and they just say, well, that person has an agenda, so the facts are skewed, but they're numbers. And it's that is I try not to correct people, because sometimes it's just not worth it.
No,
so it depends on it. What do you think? What's your thoughts?
About the same. I might try to, depending on whether it was important or not, or just, I don't know. I might try to show them through an example of my experiences.
Good.
Like I this or that, or that happened to me one time, but this or that,
Yeah.
And if nothing else, if I'm not trying to correct them per se, but maybe give them a different angle, a different way to look at things.
Yeah.
And that might spur their own, because really you can't do anything with anybody. You can't train people. So
people have to get to those locations on their own. They have to get to those on their own, really, to really get into it. So, and another one from Lady Rorschach, third in a row. And she says, what's your favorite cookie?
Ooh. I like white chocolate chunk macadamia from Pepperidge Farms. If I'm just making simple things at home, I love snickerdoodles. And pecan sandies. I love those a lot. That's kind of like a shortbread. You know that? It's like a shortbread. Yeah, I like those a lot. So that's probably my favorite. And I love cookies more than I love cake or pie. But, good peanut butter cookies, good. Good snickerdoodle is really good. And they're simple, so.
Pie is up there. That's my favorite. But
pie, yeah.
Cake, I could see liking cookies more than cake. Yeah. I think oh.
Yeah, I left the door open so it wouldn't be an issue, and now they're going to be right outside the door barking.
Well, it doesn't bother us if it.
Okay.
I mean, whatever you want to do there. Gina's Reef. Hello, Gina Bina.
Hi, Gina Bina.
Actually, we'll get to Gina's in a second. Mark actually had one. Mark Strelson. The Brooklyn Bell question. So the Brooklyn Bell question. Do you remember that one?
Is it the sandwiches?
Nope, that's Eric Wyrock. And again, I do. You guys are awesome. I love that we have so many people that have their traditional questions now. It's a tradition that they ask them in every stream. Like the Myrtle question. He's asked that, or somebody's asked that for him.
Yeah.
You are our 82nd focus on. So for 82 streams, that question has been asked. 2 years. January was our very first focus on it. So it's almost 2 years now.
Wow. Congratulations. That's cool.
But the Brooklyn Bell question is the odd physical traits. Like, do you have any double jointedness? Can you move your ears, or is there anything like that you can do?
I used to be double jointed. And now, they do what they want. I can wiggle my ears. I can, I can't anymore hardly because of dentures, but I can do my tongue in that 3-leaf clover thing. I can make that weird shape with my tongue.
Yeah.
And I can do the eyeball thing that you can do, where you cross your eyes and look that way and then look that way. Yeah. I can do that. So that's all my party tricks. That's pretty much all I know.
Michelle absolutely hates when I do that. She just, it drives her crazy. She hates when I do it. So I do it quite often. Okay, now we're to Gina's Reef. She wants to know, what superpower would you choose to have?
Oh, I would fly.
Yeah?
In a minute. Yeah, I would fly in a minute.
That would be a cool one. I think what I call is instant transmission. So you just think about a place and you're there.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah.
Because imagine that, just being able to go anywhere in the world just by thinking about it and saying, okay, I want to go to Japan right now and I want to have some really good sushi for lunch. And there you are,
What do they call that? Astral projection.
Yeah.
You can learn how to do that. Pew, pew. You can be there in a second.
Pew, pew.
Pew, pew.
Let's see. Only Oscars. What pet would you have? And hi, June. What pet would you have if possible?
A giraffe.
That was quick. You thought about
this. I would have a giraffe in a minute.
Why?
I fell in love with giraffes when I was a kid.
Yeah.
My dad held me up to one, and it stuck its purple tongue out, its 3-foot purple tongue, and wrapped around my arm. Scared me to death, but I loved it. Yeah. If you could just do that, then I would have a giraffe for sure.
Yeah. I do like to watch them run.
Yeah.
It's always very cool.
I like to watch them drink water and get back up, where they have to spread their front legs so far.
Yeah.
Because I can relate, to that hobbly stand-up motion.
Big Cat, hey, what's going on? Do you believe in aliens?
I do believe in aliens, and I'll tell you why. Because I have seen a spaceship, and I know that sounds nuts, and I don't care because I know what I saw with my own eyes. And I always was open-minded to it. I mean, really, of all the billion planets, we're the only ones who are so superior. I don't think so. There's got to be other things out there. But I absolutely, in October 4 years ago, I saw something in the sky that was not moving right. And I went and got a couple of friends to come out and see it. And there was one big one and 2 small ones. And the little ones were coming off the big one and shooting around and zigzag. They would shoot so fast and zigzag and stop. And then they'd go back to the big one. And then they both do that again and go back to the big one. And they do it individually and go back to the big one. It was totally bizarre. It was nothing that we have. And so, yeah, there's something out there flying some spaceships. Doing something cool.
I definitely believe in the possibility. I just, like you said, there's Alexander Engelhart. What's up, Alexander? Yay. He did 20 memberships. We'll get down to that.
Wow, thank you, Alexander.
Yeah, he's always just amazing.
I know. He's amazing.
I mean, just like you said, just with, how massive it is, I just can't believe that we're the only thing out there. Even if they're not like us in any way, shape, or form, there is other sentient life. Yes.
That's right. There's something, no doubt.
Glitch. Hi, Glitch. How long is your hair? It's such a beautiful color.
Oh, Thanks. It's all kinds of colors. It's normally like a blackish brown, but it's gone gray, and I've got it blue and purple now, and it's waist length. It's about waist length.
The purple is very cool.
Thanks.
I like that. My wife does a lot of different colors too. She is always doing, blues and different things, and I love it. I love it. I like that it's so accepted today because, like, when I was a kid, I would do, I had a mohawk and I would do stuff with my hair.
Cute!
But
Rico with a mohawk.
But people, there was a lot of punkers in the 70s, right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't like you didn't see older women doing that, and now it's everywhere, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I do.
Because all those punkers grew up,
That's right.
More accepting of people looking different.
That's right. Plus, you don't care anymore when you get older a lot of times, and I don't.
True.
And I decided it was fun, and I wanted to do it. I thought, I'm too old for this, and I thought, the hell I am. I'm not too old if I want to do it.
Don't care anymore.
I wear leggings and one of those little pleated mini skirts over those leggings. You wouldn't catch me in them bare-legged, but you'll catch me wearing it like a 6-year-old over some leggings, man. I'll do it with some cool boots. You bet I will.
I walk around the neighborhood. I walk around the neighborhood with pajama pants and Crocs on. I just don't even. I don't care. I don't care.
That's how it is here. That's how, out here in the country, most people are like that at Walmart, and they go out with the curlers in their hair. I wouldn't put curlers in my hair, but
I should try that. Maybe I'll try that.
Yeah,
maybe I'll do some curlers.
Absolutely.
I don't know. We probably don't even have curlers, but let's see. Next one, I'm down to Monster Fish Gal said, Craig, did I miss a question from Craig? Yeah, do the @Rico stand for me. There we go, right there. I got your question, Craig. What fish does Bunny keep? So run through real quick what you got.
Okay. I have a couple of bettas. I have some guppies, some long-finned cories. I've got stir-bite cories. I've got orange Venezuelan cories. I've got some pea puffers. And I have, let's see, my big tank in front of me. Now, this is my eclectic mix right here. Oh, I also have killifish. Let's not forget those because, honestly, they've got to be, like, almost my favorite fish, if not my favorite fish. I love those little 6-barred killies, man. They are just fascinating with their behavior. And I caught them sparring and put it on my channel. It was pretty cool. It wasn't completely focused, but it was pretty good.
I'm looking because the Amazonas magazine just came in today.
Oh, nice.
And, here it is.
I want a subscription to that so bad. Oh, nice.
It's got some really cool ones. There you go, people. If you want to buy Ivy a Christmas present, she really wants a subscription to it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh, look at that. Yeah, killifish are great. And then in my 60-gallon, let's see, I've got a weird mix. There are 2 angelfish in there. I've got some Abe's Creek Basmati, some stir-bite. I've got some Empire Gudgeons. I've got albino heckelei, the threadfin cichlid, Geophagus wine milleri. I have a Severum, electric blue acara, roseline barbs.
Love
and
those.
I've got 2 kinds of archer fish. I've got small scale archers, which I think are my favorite, and then I've got Burmese clouded archer fish too.
Never had any of the archers. I do love those Denison barbs or roseline sharks.
Yeah.
I've got a few of those and absolutely love those fish.
Archer fish are cool. They're very cool. Where you can stand, like, if you ever get the opportunity, because like that's something I've thought about doing in the 62 is, when I've got it empty, putting some of them in there, lowering the water line, putting some branches above, letting them spit crickets. I love to feed them crickets and stuff. It's great.
Yeah. They are very cool. Love those too.
Yeah.
I do have a killifish on my short list. They're next. I'm not doing anything till next year. But killifish are definitely on my short list. I haven't decided what yet, but definitely there.
If you happen to look into the 6-barred and you like them, let me know. And when I have some fry next year, I could send you some for free.
I don't know about for free, but we'll talk.
They live like 6 years, so you really get to enjoy them, and they're beautiful. They've got like the 6 bars on them, and they turn blue or yellow, depending.
Nice.
Yeah.
How big do they get?
They're about 4 inches long or so.
Oh, nice. Okay.
So you can see them, and
Yeah.
they're nice. And there are more colorful ones out there for sure, but
Sure.
with the bars on them and stuff, and the blues and the yellows, I mean, they're just stunning.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've got a couple of videos if you want to check them out sometime. Go to my
I
channel.
I was going to say, if it's on your channel, I probably have seen it.
Yeah, there's
I
nothing
do.
really
I
to
watch.
push on my. There's nothing to push on my channel. You know, I just film them.
I watch just about everything that people put out. I just don't always comment, but I try to hit the like, and
sure.
I watch just about everything that I can. I watch a lot of stuff.
How many days of Wally are you at?
37.
Wow.
I mean, we've had him for, I think today is day 35, but I have 37 because what I do a lot of days is sometimes I'm a week ahead. Like I'll record 3 of them in a day.
Yeah.
I don't want to get farther than a week because I don't want to miss, you know what I mean? I want to see the progression, but sometimes it's nice to be up ahead so that I don't have to worry about if I don't feel good or.
That's right.
I'm going to go look real quick here. Hold on.
I know. Right down.
Day 36 was today.
Okay.
Day 36. Daily dose of Wally. Day 36.
Okay.
So I'm going to try and do the entire year.
Yeah, that's great. That's a cool goal. That's neat to be able to go back and watch him, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. See how he's progressed. See what he's learned over the years. See how different he looks, you know. He's already gotten a lot bigger.
He's so cute, man. That is cute. He'd get away with murder in my house.
I'm looking at him right now, and he's a, you know, he's a puppy. So we've got our issues we're working through still, especially, you know, he's a little rough with especially Pugsley because she's 10.
Yeah.
You know? Okay, Metalhead Josh says, if you could have more room for smaller tanks, would you sell me your 180?
Yes.
We can see it there. I mean, I can see the you know, little bit of it there, and it does look like an amazing thing.
It's a beast. Yeah.
Let's see. Next one is a June. What is Bunny's favorite smoke?
Oh, I like green crack. Green crack is a nice strain. It's a strain.
Never heard of that.
Yeah, it's I like.
There's so many now.
Yeah, I like the ones that are they tend to they don't make you as high. You know, you're more relaxed and not as stupid. I like the ones that help clarify thought. Like a lot of the ones they give to people with ADD and stuff are really good because you can think. You can a lot of it is task oriented. You know, so that's what I like. You know.
Gotcha. Is it legalized there yet?
It is.
Okay.
It is. Yeah, it's legal. I've got a card, you know. I don't smoke a lot because of my lungs, and edibles, I've not had a lot of luck with edibles, you know, being decent yet. So maybe one day I can make some, but I don't want to waste the product in the meantime trying to figure it out.
I don't even know what the hell that noise just was right there. I think I had an alarm on my phone, but I've never heard that alarm before. That was the weirdest thing. Okay, it's turned down. Let's see. We're up to Mark now. Bunny's favorite cheesecake.
Oh, well, he's teasing me. My favorite cheesecake is pumpkin cheesecake now. Lady Rorschach forwarded me her recipe, and we made it for Thanksgiving, and it is delicious. Like, I always like plain cheesecake. I didn't want anything on it. I just wanted like a good New York style cheesecake, you know. But this one is pumpkin cheesecake, and it is so good. It's, you know, it's like a cross between a pumpkin pie and cheesecake.
Yeah.
You know, and it was real hard not to devour immediately. So
my son made one the other day that was close to that. It wasn't pumpkin exactly. It was like I don't even know, but it was really good. But it was super dense, but it was really good. It's amazing. He's a great baker, cook, just all around. That's what he should do. He should be a chef.
Hey, that's nice to have around the house.
It is. It is. That's why I don't want him to move out. He cooks dinner most nights.
Yeah.
And Melvin came in and wanted to know what's your favorite movie or TV show, and we did touch on that. And you want to just real quick say it again?
Probably Young Frankenstein is my favorite movie. Yeah.
And Brooklyn we did ask your question, Brooklyn Bell. Hi. But she was asking about the physical thing. We did answer that earlier. She said her tongue, she could do the weird folds. And what was the other one?
I can move my ears. I can cross my eyes and move
Cross
them.
the eyes. That was what I was thinking.
Yeah, I used to be able to touch my nose with my tongue, but I can't do that anymore.
Craig asked about what fish you kept, but he also wanted to know what would you like to get next.
Ooh, honestly, I'd love to have a tank full of neons. I've always wanted a tank full of neons, so probably just something really simple like that. I'd like to find someone that had the larger ones, not cardinals, but the larger neons. So,
have you seen those long fin ones?
I have not.
Oh God, what's his name? Redfish, Bluefish. What's his name? I did a focus on with him.
Oh,
he doesn't do too much YouTube anymore, but
yeah.
Chad will know. He didn't know who I'm talking about. Redfish, Bluefish. He lives out there in Pacific Northwest. Alex Williamson got some of those, but they're beautiful. Long finned neon tetras. Beautiful. They're expensive still, but
yeah,
very nice.
Someone was asking me one time what was the common denominator in my fish, and a lot of them are very bland colored, but they've got amazing fins. So apparently I'm kind of into fins. A lot of them have streamers or some kind of cool colors. So I like long fin varieties of things for sure.
Gotcha. The dandies.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't affect the fish,
I'm with you. Yes, I'm with you. Even some of the guppies, some of the finnage is so strong, they are so long they can't even swim. The Gonapodium,
that's too much.
I don't like that kind of stuff. Otherwise, if it doesn't harm the fish, then I'm all about, all those different types of things. There's Eric Wyrock, and he wants to know what your favorite sandwich is.
Oh, gosh. Honestly, I've had some fancy sandwiches. Like there's some kind of chicken chipotle avocado thing from Panera Bread that I had one time. I was highly impressed. It was delicious. But at home, a good grilled cheese is awesome. And probably one of my favorite sandwiches is just really soft, plain white bread with mayonnaise and like chicken, just that you pull off a breast or whatever. So like real chicken and a little bit of salt. That's probably my favorite sandwich ever. Simple and really good. And I will eat avocado on anything though. So.
Ooh, it just jumped on me and I was so far behind. Wow. I'm like a half an hour behind in the chat. I'm looking for the next highlighted one. I apologize.
Type it again, people.
Yeah, I'm actually down to Alexander doing the 20 Rico Stam memberships. Alexander, if you're still here, thank you again so much, man. I appreciate it. Whole bunch of people got memberships. It looks like they were all taken. That is amazing.
Wonderful.
And thank you, Alexander.
He's great. He's so supportive. It must be nice too to be able to do that. I've always wanted to do more. This year I was able to put up 2 donations for the Fish Fam Christmas, so I was really happy about that. Because last year I wanted to do more, and since this painting is going to take forever, apparently, I wanted to do something. I'd love to do things to give back to this family, and Fish Fam Christmas is the best thing ever. So.
I've definitely not been able to do what I want to do either. There's so much I want to do to give back and to show my appreciation for all of the support, and it's hard to do. Even I'm not even just talking about money, but just in actual just support of being there. Sometimes it's difficult.
It's hard to find the words to express that.
Yeah, so, I've been struggling to show it lately, and I just hope. I think my friends know, but
we get it.
The other people do too. So
yeah, everybody loves you, Rico. You're one of the upper tier in this family.
No.
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. You totally are.
No, yeah. I don't want to be upper tier.
Well, you didn't make yourself that. We did by popularity. Congratulations, you're popular.
Yeah, it always makes me uncomfortable. You know, we talked about this before, but
Oh no,
you know, imposter syndrome and all that. And I
no.
see people out there that make this incredible content and anyways, let's go on.
Yeah, but you're
But
the
it's not about
incredible
me.
content. You're the
Let's keep
incredible
going. So
content.
next up is Whip's World. Uh, if money wasn't, and again, this is another one that Whip has been asking quite
Okay.
often. If money wasn't an issue, what would you be doing right now, and where would you be doing it? So, what would you be doing with your life if you didn't ever have to worry about money, and where would you be doing that? You did sort of mention, you know, maybe like in the Caribbean somewhere is where you would be, but what would you be doing?
Yeah, I'd probably have to move where the job was, but I'd probably be into forensic, like the craniofacial reconstruction or something like that. I would be back into taxidermy for fun, for competitions. I wouldn't want to do it for, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that shot a deer this year. That's not my idea of fun. But I mean, they can be nice. You can do some beautiful things with a deer head, but I prefer the whole body, and I prefer it like on rocks and mountains and ice and snow, and that kind of stuff is a lot of
Yeah.
fun to make and build. So I'd
Did
still
you
like to do that if I could.
did you ever work on fish doing that? Did you ever like
I
mount a fish
learned
on
how to
anything?
do fish. I learned how to do fish, and I did some. It wasn't my favorite thing, and neither was birds. Um, and that's the thing, when I told you I had one for the professional division, there's one division above that, and that's the masters. And in
Hmm.
order to get the masters, you have to win certain awards for 4 different things. One is deer heads, I believe. The other is what they call life size, which is a whole animal. One is fish, and one is birds. And you have to win certain awards in order to be eligible for a
Gotcha.
master's. And I had no
Okay.
interest in putting that much time into fish and birds that I wasn't really into.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like doing the birds better than the fish, but because a lot of the fish, they're fake anyways. I mean, you can do a real skin mount, and I have, you do the real skin and you paint them. But a lot of times you go in with your measurements and a photograph, and then fish is made. It's a form that you make and paint and do. And of course, for people who like to catch and release, that's a good thing because you can measure, you can take the picture, and then we can kind of build you the trophy, that's more or less this was your guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But fish just was kind of boring. There wasn't a lot to it. It's more about staple him onto this and spray paint him, you know, where I was more into, the fur and that kind of thing, mammals.
Gotcha. Gina's Reef wanted to expand on her question from way back when you said you wanted to fly as your superpower. So, do you want to fly like Superman, or would you want to have wings?
Well, that never occurred to me. I just was thinking kind of float around however I wanted to. If I wanted to sit in a sitting position like a genie and fly around, I could do that. Or if I wanted to fly like Superman, or I just kind of imagine drifting around.
Yeah.
Wings would be cool, but I figure as you got older, they'd start to hurt and be too heavy. You get, arthritis in your wing joints and all that. So probably not. I probably wouldn't want to have to mess with wings, although it'd be pretty. It'd be really pretty.
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do
Okay.
you sleep? So
Yeah, they'd have to retract in or something.
something.
Dennis Christensen, Dapper Dennis, asks, and where are we at? Let's see. We got about 10 minutes left till 9 o'clock. We try to go right till 9 o'clock. So, and I'm not super far now behind in the chat because it jumped so far. What historical person would Bunny like to meet? And he says that this is a question I don't know if I could answer. He's saying I don't know if he could answer it himself.
I think I would benefit the most and really enjoy meeting Gandhi. Yeah. I think I'd like to meet someone that was that serene and that grounded and calm about people's natures. And, I think that deep understanding and that centered calmness is very appealing.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, I would like to meet Gandhi.
Let's see. So now I'm down to Coro Dullen Works. Coro Dullen Works? I don't know who that is. Is that an Is that a new
He was
name?
over on Craig's earlier. Yeah, I recognize him
Oh,
from
okay.
earlier. I've seen him
Hi
around a
there.
little bit.
I don't think
Yeah.
I know them. So hi. I love seeing new people in the community. So maybe try Rick Simpson oil. I'm not sure what Rick Simpson oil is. I'll keep scrolling down. But we'll look that up later. We'll look at that at the Rick Simpson. Oh, geez. It jumped again on me. Big time. Okay, now I'm down to Liquid Rock. Hello. That's Chris.
Yeah, Chris.
Mushrooms. Love them, hate them, feelings.
I love mushrooms. I'm one of those ones who'll eat the fungus, but I don't like the mold in my cheese. Yep.
And
yep, I love mushrooms. I love fried mushrooms. I love stuffed mushrooms. I love mushrooms in stuff. Yeah, I do.
I like too. I love mushrooms as well. And he wants to know what your favorite mushroom dish is.
Oh, probably some kind of casserole, where it was pretty much nothing but a whole bunch of mushrooms. Maybe
Sounds
some
good.
breadcrumbs in there, and probably cream of mushroom soup would be involved. I don't know. Yeah, like a mushroom pie, maybe. I don't know.
Oh, mushroom pie.
I grew mushrooms one year. Fungi Perfecti was a company that used to sell kits, and I don't know if they sell the kits anymore, and I couldn't tell you what kind I grew. I knew I grew the oyster ones, just the plain white ones like you find in the grocery store. And I grew, it started with an S. They were huge. They were over a foot tall, and they had a red cap on them. Wow. They were really cool. And
I've wanted to do that.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And you can do it in a spare aquarium too. That's what I grew mine in, was a 10-gallon aquarium. I just put some of the wet straw in the bottom and grew them in there, and with a little bit of light coming in partially, And man, they grew up and they were delicious. They just kept growing. It's so neat. You get to chop them down and they just keep popping up. And
we were talking about that just the other day because Michelle likes mushrooms too. So we were talking about looking to see if we could find one of those kits to start.
Yeah, and I bought a mushroom cookbook to go with all that. So yeah, I like mushrooms a little bit. Yeah.
Me too. Yeah. Mick, what's going on? Mickum. Favorite artist? It could be music, paintings, anything. Oh. Favorite artist of any genre, any medium.
There's a guy, I can't think of his name either, and that's a shame because he's so cool. Outside of that, man, that y'all will never know, I would say, because I can't remember, I would say I love Salvador Dali.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I love Dali's weirdness. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And what about his mustache? Did you like his mustache too? Was the mustache anything you enjoyed?
Yeah, no, he was nuts all the way around, but it was cool.
I just always hated that mustache. I don't know. It just always, every time I see it, it creeps me out for some reason.
Yeah, it's kind of gross for sure. Yeah.
Next up is Terry, and he doesn't have a question. He just says, "Tell Bunny I love her."
Oh, thank you. I love you too. That's sweet.
Okay. Next down is Gina again.
Hi, Gina.
Okay. We already answered that one. And Cora Doolin. Am I saying that right? Cora Doolin.
I don't know.
We're gonna call you Works. Works would like to know if you're thinking about taxidermy for your Severin.
Some days I might do that, Severin. No, I wouldn't do that, and I'll find him a home if I can find him one, and if I can't, then he's just gonna be here living with me with no plants. But yeah, when I first went to work with my friend Charlie, I asked him, because he had cremated all his cats, over the years. He had these little urns of his cats that he'd had. And I asked him, gee, why wouldn't you stuff them? You know what I mean? It seems like that would be what you'd want to do. And he was like, no. And I didn't understand until I really started doing taxidermy. And the thing is, with, a deer, you can take that apart. If you can, if you've got the mental tenacity for it, you can skin that and not have a problem. But if it's your beloved pet, you don't want to do some of the things you have to do. You don't want to do that to your pet.
Well, even just seeing it around, like I have Tucker's ashes right here by me.
That's sweet.
It's still right here.
Nice.
It's always right there by me. But the other animals are buried. Our cat and one of our other dogs are buried in the backyard.
Yeah.
So they're still here.
We've got a graveyard out there from over the years. There's probably 15 dogs out there from over the years. Yeah.
Which sounds horrible, but you're talking about bringing in strays, and
Yeah.
it's not like you're out there,
Yeah.
killing dogs.
No, I don't change my mind every week and just get rid of one.
There's GRB. GRB had a birthday today. Well, might not. It's not today for him, right? It was today for us Americans, though.
Well, happy birthday whenever it was.
Yeah, I believe so. I could be wrong, but I believe his birthday was yesterday for him.
Yesterday.
So happy birthday, GRB. It's good to see you. And he's just saying hi. Barbara Jackson would like to know what your favorite kind of weather is. And we got about 5 minutes left now.
I like the fall. I like a little bit of a breeze. I like it not too hot. I like a little bit of sun. I like a little shade. Yeah, so I think I like the fall a lot. I like the spring too, but some of the milder weather, not too hot, not too cold, a little bit of breeze here and there. Yeah.
I like it colder. I mean, I don't mind the heat. The heat doesn't bother me. I mean, I lived in Arizona for most of my life. Actually, now New York is the place I live the longest. But no, well, I don't know. We're very close. Arizona and New York, it's very close. But I don't mind the heat, but I just like the cold. As soon as I'm done here, I'm going to take Wally for a walk.
Nice.
It'll be like 38 degrees, and I'll be wearing a t-shirt and my slippers and pajama pants, and that's
Yeah.
But just breathing in that cold air, it feels so good on my lungs, and I just feel better.
See, I can't get too hot or too cold now at all because breathing that in is too difficult, and cold hurts my bones too much for me to be a big fan. I love a fireplace. When along with it.
When I have a flare up, you would think that the cold would make it worse, but my joints get very hot. So cold feels amazing. Good. Like even if we're driving somewhere and I'm not feeling too good and my hands are swollen, I'll put them in the wintertime. I'll put my hand against the window and it feels so good.
Oh, sure.
It's like an ice pack on swelling. So.
Sure. Well, I can understand that.
I think that's part of why and this is a good question. It's not really a question. It's more of a statement.
Okay.
But how does Bunny smile and keep so positive after all she's been through? Any secrets there? Any tricks to staying positive after having dealt with so much?
Well, gosh, the one thing is there's not a lot you can do about a lot. You know what I mean? There's some things you just can't do anything about. And so you choose. I mean, we're all writing our own story as we sit here. We're all writing our own life story. So you can choose to be, really upset or not. I mean, what are you going to do? You know what I mean? So it's just better to be happy. It's better for you. It's better for the people around you. And I am not happy all the time. I cry. I get angry. I'm just as human as everybody else. But another thing, here's my trick, is anything that's really been painful and horrible to me, I pack that away. And I learned not to think about it. And if you practice that, which is when something comes up in your head that is upsetting to you, don't think about it anymore. Think about something else. And that sounds simple, but you can train yourself to where you can control a whole lot of what weighs you down. And that's what I do. That's my big secret, is just don't think about it. Move on to the next better thing.
That's great advice. And it's a skill that sometimes I can do. It depends on what it is. And sometimes I dwell on the dumbest stuff at 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's just things that don't matter, but they make me so upset, and it's just stupid. And and Lady Rorschach wants to expand on that question. What brings you the greatest joy? What makes life grand and worth living today for you?
I would say my mother. I really would say my mother. She's the loveliest human being that I've ever met. She's a true lady, and I say that and she laughs, but it's true. My mother's a lady. You don't meet that anymore. Yeah. She's not stuffy. She's fun and a lot of fun, but she's very sweet, and 100% what you see is what you get, and just a very kind, lovely.
Would she want to come say hi to us?
Person. No, she's hiding.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
She won't even watch this right now, so she doesn't make me nervous. So she'll watch the replay. She'll make me watch it with
her. Let's see. Okay, and here's one I missed. Oinkmaster said I had 2 questions earlier because it skipped on me, so I probably missed a bunch of them there. worst thing for you about fish keeping with health issues. For me, she says for her, it's the agony of the bucket lifting. So what's the worst part for you with the health issues and everything?
Buckets were bad. I think these 2-foot tall tanks are not for me. So regular 12-inch tall or 18-inch tall tanks would be better. This 60's 2 feet tall, and it's sitting on an antique oak desk. And so in order for me to use the Python, because I can never use buckets on it, I have to climb up on the desk to do it. And that's pretty difficult. So, buckets, yeah, I can relate to the buckets, though. I would say get a Python if you can, get a Python and try to make that work for you, because it sure simplifies things. Yeah.
Mine is I sort of have a cutoff. So if I'm up and out of bed, I might be in some pain and but I have days where I'm just stuck in bed, so I'm not doing anything. And those days can sometimes last for a week.
Yeah.
So I don't do any water changes because it's not, but when I'm up out of bed, then I can usually do my water changes, and it is with buckets.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
Okay. And again, we're actually over now. So MNC said he can send Bunny a recipe for mushroom ketchup. Interesting.
Okay.
And Work said that Rick Simpson oil is a cannabis extract that can be ingested orally or cooked with as opposed to inhalation.
Nice.
RSO is just one process. Gotcha. And I'm okay. So it looks like I'm at the bottom. Hello, everybody. I saw a few people come in.
Do you leave your chat up? I'm sorry, I interrupted you.
No, you didn't. No. Yes, I make sure to check it so that people can go back, and when they're watching the live stream, they can also see the chat. I think that's important.
Cool.
I make sure I try to make sure to check that, because YouTube, for some reason, will just, most of the time I have it set that way, but sometimes it takes the check mark out. So I try to make sure I did, and I did with this stream. It's definitely there, so you'll be able to go back and look at.
Yeah, I hate not being able to see folks. I wish I could respond to them. I need I need something, a computer or something.
There's a bunch of people that came in I didn't say hi to. I see some new names. There's a bunch of questions that I did miss. Bunny, Ivy, thanks so much for joining us. It wasn't bad at all, was it? You said you were a little nervous, a little anxious.
No, it was great. And thank you for having me. It's just absolutely been my pleasure. I've enjoyed it so much.
Good. I'm glad. I hope you had a good time. And thank you for letting us learn so much more about you.
Sure.
I know sometimes it can be hard to talk about some of those things. But again, and I've said this so many times, I think it's important for people like yourself, like myself, like MNC, like all these people we have in our group that have health issues or mental issues or whatever it is,
I've got
to talk about those things so that people out there know that they're not alone. It's very important, I think, for people to know that they're not alone. So, okay. Anything else before we leave? Anything you want to tell everybody?
Just love each other and be kind. Choose kindness if you can. If you can't, walk away. But if you can, just try to be kind. Sometimes when I get frustrated, that what would Jesus do thing, I always try to think, okay, this guy could be anybody. You know what I mean? You never know who you're talking to. You never know. You never know how you might influence someone with a kind word. They might need a kind word. So
maybe they just had a horrible day, and then your smile and your kind word might be the thing to stop them from doing something bad or whatever. We never know what everybody else is going through. So
that's
if
right.
You can,
that's right.
So again, Scuba Steve will be our guest Saturday. We're doing a double this week, Scuba Steve. And then I'm going to do probably one more focus on. I'm not sure who that is yet. It might be Shelby. I don't know who that's going to be. But that probably will be the last one for the year, because we got Fish Fam Christmas. I play Santa Claus, and I will be doing not as many as last year. We have more helpers this year to play Santa and elves and Mrs. Claus and stuff like that. So last year I did like 37 streams.
Wow.
This year will probably be, way less. Not probably, it will be way less than that. So we might still do some focus on those last 2 weeks. That's coming up quick. Again, Friday, people, make sure on Fish Fam Christmas, and they're in the chat right now. Make sure you're subscribed to that channel, Fish Fam Christmas. On that channel, we're going to do Friday. We're going to do a stream where we assign the gift packages to every channel that is signed up. So you'll know which channel has the gift that you really want. If you're after that RODI unit, if you're after some of the CO2 regulators or the co-op gift cards or KG or whatever you're after, you'll know which channel has it. The thing is, you won't know when their stream is. It's going to be sometime between December 18th and January 1st. So you're going to have to watch all the streams those people do. So, all right. And with that, go look at fishfam.link and you can see all the streams that are going on right now. There's more people going right now, and there's a lot of cool streams still tonight. So we'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out.
Thank you to Rico.
Thanks for the, Alexander Engelhardt, Mark Stroken. And if I missed anybody else, I apologize with any super chats or member messages or any of that stuff. I probably missed some at the beginning. So we'll see you guys.